This is a 9 News live stream event.
Hello and welcome. Tonight we're broadcasting live from Channel 9's new home in Melbourne, 717 Docklands. Joining me in the studio is Tracy Grimashaw, Tony Jones and a very sick Peter Hitchener. Also joining us tonight is the fabulous Livinia Nixon. She's standing by to give us a look behind the scenes of this brand new building. Now you can submit a question throughout the live stream by going to facebook.com/9news or by using the hashtag 9stream on Twitter. Welcome guys, and Hitch, a very sick Peter Hitchener, thank you for joining us tonight. Couldn't actually do the news tonight, but you're here, you've come to the live stream.
Well, the thing is, a news is a half an hour of reading, or nearly, and I didn't think the throat would last, but it's okay for a live stream, and people don't mind if I cough and splutter a bit, which could happen.
So if we think.
I must say, the first time I saw Hitchy 30 years ago, I went, sick. And tonight he really is.
Well, I can tell you, I'm thrilled that he was sick for the last 3 nights. It's given me a bit of a chance.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, that's what they were saying on Twitter anyway.
And you've you've no idea what it's like sitting at home watching the news going so brilliantly. And you're just, oh, that's good, I'm very pleased.
No. Come on, TJ, stuff up, Hitchy's saying.
No, he doesn't. He certainly
no one
doesn't.
does it like Hitch.
I'll cut it out.
Well, there's lots of questions coming through. Let's get to the first one. The first one is from James Morgan. In fact, James has actually posted a lot of questions, so we'll hear from him throughout the night. But his first question is, how did you move the set and other production elements out of Bendigo Street and have it all set up and ready at Docklands by the next evening? Did you build a replica set?
Have you got your hammer and nails here? I left my talking at home.
I'm not too sure. Well, this is actually shorter than what we had in Bendigo Street, isn't it?
So it is a replica. A smaller replica.
Yeah.
Well, weren't you doing rehearsals here at the same time as you were? Yeah.
We rehearsed the news from the night before in the mornings, and then we go back to Bendigo Street and do that night's episode, and then next morning we'd come and rehearse it again from here at Docklands.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, we had the same desk. We actually had to move it out on the same day that...
with Tracy still behind it.
There was a little... Because we actually stayed. I think... we moved
You
first.
moved first.
That's right. But we were going to move earlier than we actually did, and we ended up broadcasting out of a broom closet for a little while. And we could barely fit the ACA desk back in the old... at the Bendigo Street address, and we could barely fit that ACA desk in there.
Well, the broom closet was Graham Kennedy's old dressing room.
That's right.
Yeah,
is that where you were?
Yeah.
Well, it was bigger than a broom closet.
Known as the Ark.
Yeah, why?
Well, it's a long story.
Our next question has just been sent in by Craig B, and he asks, what's the most difficult thing you do to cope with? What's the most difficult thing you cope with on live television?
Thinking of something to say. I don't know. It would just be not stumbling.
Yeah.
I think that would be the biggest thing. Look, I mean, in reality, you would say nerves, but if you're concentrating hard enough, then you don't even think about nerves, do you? You just worry about what you have to do.
I don't really remember the last time I had nerves. I mean, I did 10 years of, sort of 2 or 3 hours of television a day on the Today Show. Once you've done that, live television is just like having a conversation with your mate. Well, it is. You are having a conversation with your mate. Yeah. So there's not too much. I mean, it's more if something fails, if it's a really pivotal interview, for example, and the satellite fails and you think and you haven't got a fallback position, it's more that you tap dance for a couple of minutes while you wait to see whether you can get the comms back again. But, that's just live television. It's part of the fun of it, I think.
And I think also dealing with confronting stories. There are times when you're dealing with a story that is very moving and confronting to deal with. I think that's quite hard because you have to try and stay objective and stay back from the story, but it's something that is really touching the audience and that it also touches the people who are working on the story, like bushfires or floods. Yes. Those things are they can be very upsetting.
And I know that Joe Hall, who of course reads Weekends here and has been here for years and years and years, she will purposely not actually watch stories, especially about kids, because she's got 4 kids of her own.
When she knows what the content of that story will be.
Yeah, and you would know what the content of the story was anyway, but she would purposely not watch a story because she would just go to pieces as a result of it.
Okay. Kelly Baker asks, what happens while you're in a commercial break?
TJ tells dirty jokes.
No, I start to tell them, then she finishes them.
Because, of course, what's not understood probably is the fact that we're all in this one large studio together.
Funny you should mention that, Peter Hitchener, because One of the changes since the move here to Docklands has been the sharing of studio space between Nine News and Current Affairs. Seamless transition there.
We love it.
At the old Richmond site, the two shows had their own studios, but in this new building, they're together. So let's go to what Peter was alluding to, a behind-the-scenes tour with Livinia Nixon, who's on Tracy's home turf, the ACA set. Now, Livinia, looking at you on the telly, that could be anywhere, but you're actually a lot closer to us than what people might think.
Yes, well, as you know, ACA is a national show and it's made here out of Melbourne. And I'm only about 10 metres away from the 9 News set. So at the end of the weather and at the end of the news, we all have to be very quiet and tiptoe around. However, between 6:30 and 7, this place is buzzing with producers, makeup artists, floor managers. And one of our questions from Adam Wakefield was, what exactly does a floor manager do? So I've roped in Timmy. Poor T-Dog, you're going to be on the internet, Timmy. If you'd like to tell everyone exactly what you do. Thank you.
Well, what I do, Liv, basically look after you guys and make sure you're looking at the right cameras and make sure you've got the right scripts.
And timing issues, you've got to cue us in.
Timing is crucial.
One of Tim's cues that always made me laugh was on the set of Temptation, because we go back a long way, and he was leaning on the set and he's just gone and walked off, and I went, oh, that was my cue, was it?
She got it too. She's great.
Thanks, Jimmy. All right, back to you, Rob.
Well, actually, sorry, just while you're there, I don't think we quite saw the news set in relation to that. Could that camera...
You can swing around. You can see where the news set is.
There we are. Hello, we're side by side, isn't it marvellous?
Great, which answers the question, which is lovely. We'll be crossing back to the lovely Livinia shortly for an exclusive first look upstairs in the newsroom. But it's not too late to ask the guys a question. We are here live and ready to answer whatever's on your mind. I might regret saying that. Go to facebook.com/9news or use the hashtag 9stream on Twitter. So, another question, guys, regarding commercial breaks. Do you eat in the studio during breaks, and what do you eat? Does the station provide nourishment? And that's...
It's only a half-hour show. How hungry do you think we look?
It's a very nourishing atmosphere, culturally. It's a very enjoyable atmosphere. We don't eat on the set.
No,
we do have a drink of water and the occasional strepsil for when these difficult
you
throats...
used to smoke.
100 years ago.
Used to, in between stories.
Oh no, certainly not.
But newsrooms were like that back in the day, weren't
Steve
they?
Liebman used to.
Yeah.
Steve Liebman used to duck
like a
out for a
chimney.
gasp. As soon as his interview was up, he'd duck out and he'd come back in again. And he had, hundreds of unfinished cigarettes outside in the props bay.
Wasn't
when we
that
were doing
always
the
the
Today
8
Show.
o'clock news break?
All the time. He smoked right throughout the show. I must say he gave up. He gave up cold turkey because he had a heart scare and just absolutely gave it up completely. And so he should have.
Well, you've
It's
seen
been
that.
nagging him for years.
You've seen that famous old footage that was played ad nauseum at Brian Naylor's funeral and memorial services of when Brian Naylor used to read at another station, and Bill Collins, the great race caller, would sit there and actually had the cigarette on the set and would just wave away the smoke just before Brian threw to him.
And in the early days, at 9, we didn't have anyone smoking on the set. From the talent side of things, from the presenter side of things. However, we had a floor manager who was a chain smoker and continued to smoke all the way through the bulletin, and you'd sort of be reading through this sort of haze. But nobody seemed to mind because that was back in the days of black and white television, monochrome television. You couldn't really tell.
And
How fabulous.
was that the same floor manager stroke cameraman that had the marinated chicken wings that night? And clearly there was more alcohol in the marinated chicken wings than we thought.
Well, what happened there was
You really are getting behind the scenes here.
That's what it's all about.
All the grubby little secrets.
The person concerned didn't quite finish their shift, you see, and somebody rang from management and said, "What's the matter?" And we said, "Marinated chicken wings, what else?"
Okay, Maddie Roberts asks, and Tracy, this is an ACA question. How much preparation is involved before the show goes to air for both Tracy and the producers?
It depends on the day. For doing the show, we've got people who are, our executive producers taking a conference call at 5:30 every morning. We have crews on deck, crews on call all night for anything that happens. Sometimes they'll be on call doing a stakeout on an investigation that we're doing. For me, I shot a story on Sunday that involved working from Saturday night through till Sunday night. On a day-to-day basis, I might start earlier, I might start at lunchtime. It really, in the afternoons, it's all about checking the script and making sure everything's right. Then, excuse me, I'm catching this from you.
Sorry, it's not going
Thanks
down
very
the
much.
line.
You've always said what's yours is mine. So really it sort of depends on the day with a show like ACA, because we're not quite as routine, perhaps, as news, I think.
Okay. A good friend of ours, Mulks TV Talk, asks, how do the panel feel about Twitter as a news source?
Love it.
I think it's become the most important source for news, especially from a sport point of view, because a number of all the clubs actually put out their releases via Twitter first. They put out their teams via Twitter. The AFL, even though Andrew Demetriou hasn't embraced it, he thinks it's basically people saying that they've just been to the toilet, or I've run out of toilet paper. Andrew Demetriou's got no idea about Twitter. But his own media department has embraced Twitter, and tribunals, any media-related message that needs to get out via the AFL is done via Twitter. The footballers use Twitter. We've actually picked up on stories from footballers, well, like the Melbourne players, for example, when they tweeted their disgust at a tribunal decision, ended up being fined as a result of that. So, you know, you can communicate. I do a radio show each morning on Radio Sport National, 5:30 to 9.
Nice plug.
There was a story come up about Andrew Bogut, so we put the message out there about Andrew Bogut. Next thing he replied, had him on half an hour later. It's a very, very powerful tool.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Jeremy Berg asks, what do you think about the idea that commercial news has been dumbed down over the years? Does that bother you? Is it true?
Now, you see, if he was in the room, I would say to him, what do you mean by dumbed down? I think in some ways there has been a move to make news and current affairs more accessible to more people. I mean, I think, you know, from our point of view, let me speak from a current affair point of view, because it's a long time since I've worked in news. But I think what people tell us now, they vote with their remote controls now. We get minute-by-minute ratings, and they tell us what they want to see and what they don't want to see. So whatever we're giving them is not because we sit in our ivory tower and say, this is what you should watch. This is because we are reacting to what they have told us on the previous night, and the night before that, and the night before that they have an appetite for. I think probably what's happened these days, I think that, you know, people can get their news all day long. Now they get their information from so many different sources. Twitter is one of them. You know, there are so many news services during the day. So where it used to be that they would sit down for an hour at night and they'd watch the news, and that'd be the first time they'd seen those pictures, and then they'd expect a current affair to go behind the news and give them an analysis. They've had that all day long on radio and various other news sites. So what we feel now is that people largely they want hip pocket nerve stuff. They want to know how they can best manage their mortgages. Power bills is massive at the moment. You know, people cannot get enough stories about power bills and about smart meters. They want to know how they can circumvent all of that. If that's dumbing down, then that's what they're telling us they want.
I do find it a strange argument that dumbing down is actually providing people with information. It seems a really elitist attitude to me. What
we do is a slice of life, a slice of what's important at the time. So if sadly there's been an Australian casualty in Afghanistan, that will lead the news. It's not like it's all about light, fluffy stories. It's a mixture of what's important then and there, what's important that day. And you'll get a mix of everything. You might also, in that same bulletin, find out what Lady Gaga's up to. But the fact is, we try to cover everything that's important.
But I think you always would have. I mean, I did 13 years in the newsroom here in Melbourne, and there was no Lady Gaga when I was doing it. But she had her equivalents, and we would always, if Lady Gaga was in town and she was a massive sensation, we'd have done that story.
But I think also, if you look back at news only 5 years ago, we had this, not mentality, but an approach where you had to have a state political story, you had to have a court story, you had to have a police round story, well, nowadays, if the state political story is not interesting, then we don't run it, right? If there's no court stories, then don't run it. You know, we're not sort of locked into this format of state polls, police, courts. So, you know, as Tracy said and Hitch said, if it's consumer related, then that'll always get the nod over anything state politics or courts or police or anything.
Because it's what people want. It's what they need at the moment. It's what they're telling us they want and need.
Terrific. Well, there are plenty of nooks and crannies to explore here at 717 Docklands, and Livinia Nixon has made her way into something called the toss. Now, even though the name lends itself to many jokes, what exactly is the toss, Livinia?
The Toss Room is the talent-operated small space. So basically, it's a self-contained studio where we do all our updates because, as you can see, news and a current affair are done out of the same studio. So we do need our own separate area where we can get the updates done. So the news reader would operate the auto cue themselves with this tiny little remote, and plus work out the counter so you can get the timing spot on. However, I do want to show you the control room, which is where the feeds from news and a current affair go. So just follow me through here. Thank you. And we've got our senior director on tonight, Gary, down the end. Gaz, how you going?
Good, thanks, Livo.
I've got a quick question for you. It is from Jaden Forster. He's asked, how do you broadcast the TV shows and news out to the world, and how do you put the graphics on the screen?
Well, it all goes through this Vision Mixer, which is one of the newest in the country, which is fantastic. The graphics come onto the screen via what's called the Viz, which is just over there. Linda's operating the Viz, and she can put up a super... Have you got Lavinia's name? Oh, well, there you go.
You don't have that on tap, Linda. Come on.
Sorry. Can you put up a live? Have you got a live? Tracy. Okay, Tracy Grimshaw's name, please. And there's Tracy. Hello, Tracy. And so that all comes off what's called the Viz, which is a fantastic thing. And all the cameras, all the tape all the tapes and hard disks come through the desk, and it all gets rolled and put out to air from here.
How frantic is it between 6:30, the handover between news and a current affair?
That's probably the worst period of television I've ever experienced. That particular 1 minute is deadly.
Every night, you hate it every night.
Every night, yes, every night. I'm growing more ulcers by the minute.
We're airing our grievances live on the internet, Rob.
Love it, love it. More of it from everyone.
Can I just tell you something, Rob? I never knew any of that.
Oh, really?
No.
It all happens behind the scenes.
It's because it's all happening up there. And you're
Yeah, that's
usually
right.
down
That's
here.
right. I've never seen that before.
Oh, well, not only are we giving people
Yeah,
at
I am.
home
I'm just trying
something...
to make it interesting.
Hey, don't forget, if you have a question or you simply want to follow up on something that's been said tonight, let us know at facebook.com/9news or use the hashtag 9stream on Twitter. And someone who has already posted a question on is our long-time Facebook follower, Zoe Tulip. I'm sorry, I think I've totally gone to something that's meant to happen in a moment. So, see, this is what happens when you get an amateur in the chair. I'm sorry, guys.
Are you going to surprise us with something in a minute?
No, that's actually for Lavinia's next
Oh,
cross.
okay,
So I've
righto.
just completely jumped ahead.
Geez, your question must have been a doozy, Zoe.
When I do it next time, I'll edit it out on the YouTube one. It'll look seamless, you know. So only the people watching the live stream will see this complete stuff up. That's why you should watch the live stream.
You know that question before about, what's your worst nightmare in live television? Robbie's living it right now.
That's all right. I can get away with more. Being an amateur, not a slick professional like you guys.
You're doing fine.
Thank you. Here we go. Robin Future wants to know, would love to see Tracy do at least one exclusive interview per week. TG nails it. She has an excellent rapport with people. So Tracy, what's involved when you do those big interviews? What's it? Yep.
Oh, well, firstly, you have to get those people over the line.
Yeah.
That's usually the
Hence
really
why
hard
you don't
part.
have one every week.
That's why you don't get one every week, because some people just don't want to submit to the process. I can't understand why not. I love doing them, and we would love to do one every week, to be honest with you. I think we're looking at Bert and Patty now. That was an extraordinary... You'd never get a Bert and Patty in the chair every week. You just wouldn't. And actually, given the subject matter, you sort of wouldn't want to. I mean, you wouldn't want to see people that you know going through something like that. I think, I mean, from my point of view, when I'm going to do something like this, there's an enormous amount of research. I think when someone does agree to sit down and talk about something that is a massive event in their lives. We're looking at the Hey Dad interviews now. I mean, it took 20 years for Sarah Monahan to finally decide she was going to tell this story. And Simone Buchanan's a very good friend of mine, and I knew she was never going to tell the story until Sarah was going to tell this story, because it was Sarah's story to tell. So once you know that someone is going to do this and they're going to talk about the biggest thing that's ever happened in their lives, then it's my obligation to know everything I possibly can. So I'll just work for days on the research. And I think that's the biggest part of preparing. Once someone tells you that they'll talk to you, then I make sure that I know them inside out before I sit down to do the interview. And thank you very much for saying that I have a good rapport. Thank you. It's nice.
Well,
Nice to
let
hear.
me ask you, what's it like when the cameras are turned off after you've asked some very tough questions?
In most cases, not all of the interviews are confrontational,
No,
for
of course.
example. Most of them are not. With the Hey Dad ones, well, a couple of them were, but most of them were not. It was a friendly exchange. In the case of some of the others, for example, I know you showed the Matthew Johns interview. That was a very fraught situation in that room, and it was very tense. It was a packed room. There were a lot of people in there. The Johns had quite a few people there as support for them. And when it was over, Matthew got up and left the room quite quickly. Actually, Trish got up and left the room. Matthew stayed for a bit. I think that. I think it's very tense in situations like that. You don't go out and have a beer afterwards. People go away and process what's happened. But that's probably 1% of them, really.
I actually did an interview almost on your behalf with Gordon Ramsay. He'd made some disparaging remarks about you.
Yeah, you did. Very disparaging.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you, there was nothing chatty before the interview and after the interview with that fella.
Yeah.
But we had to be a little bit careful with that too, because he was part of the Nine stable. So you couldn't go in there and attack him hammer and tong because he was still part of Channel 9.
Well, it didn't seem to worry him.
No, it didn't.
Good point, Trace. Actually, I wish you had done the interview.
Look, that was a really that was a very tricky few days. Look, I still don't know where that came from. I still don't understand where that initial attack came from, and I don't even know if he knows.
Well, I don't think
he
he
had
knew what
a
he
little
was
brain
doing.
snap.
Yeah.
But yes, I can imagine it wasn't a very nice feeling in the room. Would have been very nice if I was doing it either, TJ.
I still would have liked to have been in the room, but just watching.
Yes.
Well,
Tony likes to watch.
I walked into the makeup room the day that he was in there for that interview, and I was supposed to sit down next to him and have my face done. I walked in and saw what was happening and turned around and walked out. Did the news breaks that day without makeup because I thought, I'm not going into there. I want to steer clear, thank you very much, because it was a very tough and tense time.
Yeah, it
was it not?
Well, it was a difficult couple of days. I mean, because he did his first thing on the Saturday. I mean, I had done the interview with him on the Friday and thought it was all fine, except he'd had a little crack at my little mole that I was born with. But that was okay. I didn't worry about that. And then he had a big crack on the Saturday, and then it all sort of rolled on.
But your response was something that garnered a huge amount of interest from people and a huge amount of support, I thought, from the audience, because he was somebody prepared to stick up for themselves, say what they had to say. And I just thought it was very gutsy and good on you.
He was just a street brawler. You were just class.
Oh, well, thanks, Teach. I mean, I had a good think about it, and I really didn't make the decision until, that Monday that I was actually going to respond to him, because I really thought, look, maybe I just have to cop this sweet and walk away. But the thing was that he was going to be in the country for a month. And I thought
A bit hard to avoid him.
And he kept doing it every day. After the first day, he got a bit encouraged by all the attention he was getting, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be the sport du jour every day for a month. I'm going to have to get up off the mat and,
Because your mum was affected by it too, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was a bit upset about it, but it's okay. She's cool now. It's all good.
Well, it was certainly an interesting time, and you did have the support of the country. I felt like there was just this wave of support behind you at the time, as Hitch said. So,
thanks.
And you can also tell, because these days with Twitter and other social networking things, you know what people think straight away. But that's
Whether you
great.
like it or not.
It's great, because the thing is, I know for me, back to the social networking thing for a minute, first thing I do every day now is to read Twitter before I read the papers, before I go online.
you?
Yes.
Interesting. The first thing I do each day is block.
Well, you get that sporting crowd and they can be really direct.
Oh yeah, they can
know?
certainly be direct.
They
Don't worry
think they're
about
at a
that.
footy game.
In the outer.
well, how is that? Because Twitter has opened up the interaction with the audience like we're doing here with these live streams. There's obviously a lot of nice commentary made on Twitter, but they now have direct access to you to be able to be nasty. I mean, yes, you can block, but you've already read the comment, I guess.
Well, maybe not so much nasty, but just very critical.
Right.
Which we should never ever be precious about that.
Yeah.
But some people, if they're following me or Tracy or Hitch or Livinia, yes, Livinia has an account.
Does she?
At Livo Nixon. Not that we're saying what the account is.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
What is it?
At Livo Nixon, Livonaxon.
She's new. She's only done one tweet.
Yes, she's
I know,
done
but
one tweet.
But she only got one response, and that was from someone who wasn't overly kind to her. Well, actually, they suggested she was nothing but a B-grade celebrity. Now, I would have been happy with that.
Well, that's been a nice start for Livo on Twitter, but that's the sort of stuff you have to complicate.
Yeah, she's standing by.
And can I say, I've only got 3 followers and they're all sitting at that desk. How sad's that? And I see them every day.
I was your first.
That's only because we haven't known you on Twitter. I didn't even have to put your address up for this. So we will certainly change that. There will be a big Twitter community ready to follow you right now, Livinia.
I'm prepared for it.
Actually, while you're there, we've had a question on our Facebook page from our long-time Facebook followers.
Oh, this is Zoe.
Yeah, this is the bit we were meant to do that I did earlier.
Deja vu.
I know. She asks, after the move from the old studios to the new ones, do you still use tapes? And if not, how do you archive everything that goes to air? Come on, let's go back to Livinia to find out. You're in the Gateway, Livinia.
I am. It's an interesting question, Zoe, because this is called the Gateway, this area, and this is where all the footage streams in from overseas and around Australia. Now, Leith works in the Gateway. Leith, tell us exactly what you do. Explain it to everybody, please.
Okay, so I'm based in the News Library, and if the vision doesn't come through by a stream from another station or overseas, then the cameraman will bring it back in on XD cam disc, which is a little bit different to the old tapes we used to use. And so then we'll have it ingested in through the ingestion point over there and store it on a big computer, basically, and look up video whenever we need it.
So it's all digital now. That makes it easier for you to find the footage that you need.
Much easier, yeah. Before we used to have to go through each tape individually to find the shot exactly that a reporter might have needed, whereas now we can load up a YouTube-style video and have a quick preview to see if it's what we want and, send it straight to the computer for the editors to use.
Now, all the footage that comes through here to the Gateway is unedited, and obviously when it goes to air, certain things are pixelated. So I always walk past the Gateway with a little bit of apprehension because you see crime scenes as they've been shot, you see accidents and things like that. It can be quite upsetting seeing this footage.
Yeah, that's right, Livinia. After a while, you sort of become a bit desensitised to it, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you sort of try and take it in your stride and not take too much notice unless it's very important that you get the shot of the crime scene or the accident.
Just don't build up too much of an armour of wall, a wall of armour around your heart, Leith, because you're still human. Things still affect you. And I know it's your first time on camera too, so well done, buddy.
Thanks, Livinia.
Back to you, Teach and Rob.
Nicely done, Leith. He's not that tough. He may look it, but he's not. Guys, Joe Bunter asks, what advice do you have for young people aspiring to be journalists?
Oh, well, can I just say? Listen to your news director and listen to your chief of staff. Don't backchat and make sure before you get to work you read your newspapers.
That's after you've got the job. How do you get the job in the first place? I don't know. It's changed so much. It's been 32 years since I got my job in journalism, so I'm sure it's changed, but I think probably a pretty damn good mark in English is a good way to start. I think being curious about the world. I don't think there's probably any point in being a journalist unless you're curious about the world. I must admit, I remember a young girl saying to me many years ago, she was a model and she wanted to be a newsreader, and she said, and I said, why do you want to do that? And she said, well, I've got this really good wardrobe from being a model, and I think that it worked really well. And I said, I get that. I think you'd look gorgeous on air, but I just think there's a little bit more that needs to go on here. I think if you're curious about the world and you're reasonably articulate and you can read and you can write and you can talk, have a crack.
And network. Really important to network, because these days everybody has contacts, everyone knows someone who knows someone, and network, and don't take no for an answer, and knock on doors and keep on demanding a job and go for it.
And take anything that's offered.
Yes.
Now we've got the television industry is littered, isn't it, with people that started in the library, in the mail room.
Regional television?
Regional television.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you started at Suburban Newspaper, didn't you?
I did.
Yes, you were.
I was in the leader group, yeah.
I started at Country Radio in Wangaratta.
I started in a newsroom straight out of school. I jagged a job in a radio newsroom when I left school, writing news, breakfast radio news, and presenting it on weekends without having the vaguest idea what it was all about. But I tell you what, I got to learn quick, smart. I was so lucky. I was just right place, right time.
And I think you have to be prepared to do the shifts. If you think you're going to work 9 to 5, forget it. I know in the first 18 months that I worked in television, I worked every weekend, and I barely saw any of my friends because they were all doing stuff on weekends.
But you could say the same today. How long have you been in the industry? And as you said, you're flying up to do interviews in different states on the weekend. There's no such thing as a normal life, is there?
No, and don't expect to work 8 hours a day. Don't expect, take every opportunity that you can get. you know, and don't knock back anything. That's what I would say.
Correct.
Okay. TV Guru AU asks you, Tracy, if you wish you could interview anyone, who would it be?
I never answer the current wish list because I don't want to give anybody else any ideas. So if
Nice.
we could make that living or dead, and I go for dead, I'd say Elvis.
Okay.
Fat Elvis or skinny Elvis?
Yeah, good question.
Fat Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's had the life experience?
Well, because I think I would like to talk to Elvis. I would love to talk to Elvis towards the end. I'd like to do that. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. Maybe one day when I find out where we all go when we leave here, you know, maybe that will happen one day. But no, I think it would be fascinating. Because Elvis just had everything, didn't he? He had looks and he had talent, he had it all, and then it all sort of eked away while he was alive. And I think it'd be a fascinating interview.
Yeah, well put.
I'm
choice.
sorry, that's probably not the answer that, was it TV Guru? It's probably not the answer that he or she wanted, but I just think if I tell you who I'm going for now, then someone else will get in first. I'm competitive like that.
I don't think anyone's
not
going to
like
get Elvis before you.
No, well, that's right, exactly.
Okay. James Morgan says, we're all familiar with the term quiet on set, but how quiet do people really need to be? And has anything ever broken your concentration?
Every night when we try to escape quietly from the set while Tracy's doing her intro, there's a little platform right beside us there that Livinia stands on to do the weather. It shouldn't give away those trade secrets, but there is. Every night you could count on one of us quietly sneaking out and kicking it. Oh, sorry, Tracy, as we head out the door.
And they all think I don't hear. I hear.
She hears everything. She's like Tony Jones. And Tony, if I can tell another tale out of school,
Please.
has 360-degree vision. Pity help anyone who moves on the floor, who moves up on the observation deck up there, or makes a sound, or anything that happens during Tony's intros, because there is a very strong response the minute he's thrown to the story.
Well, I must admit I do have good peripheral vision, and there are times when I'm actually reading, and as I'm reading, I can see Hitch raise his eyebrows, and then I think to myself, what have I just said wrong? I go into the story, I said, what was wrong with that? And you go, nothing. I said, why'd you raise your eyebrow?
I didn't.
Were you a horse in a previous life? They have 360-degree vision. That's weird. How
can't
can you
help
do
it,
that?
Tracy.
Can
I
you see,
can't-
like, okay, if you look straight ahead now,
Yeah,
can you see what I'm doing now?
you're pouting and you're bobbing your head up and down.
You can see
Yeah, that's
Rudlin
all it
over in
was.
the corner. You can see the people at the prompter. You can see everything.
Were you doing that, by the way?
No, I was sticking my tongue out at you.
That old
Classy.
trick.
This has turned into a really classy live stream. Hey, Riley Kernahan wants the biggest trade secret of all. What do the presenters talk about at the end of the bulletin while the theme music plays?
Can I tell you? Lavinia takes it all seriously, right? So when we're sitting there, like Hitch will sort of go, oh yeah, that's good, isn't it? And so yeah, anyway, and Lavinia's like, so about that story before about, I said, Lavinia, we're off. Anyway, Livinia takes it all seriously, right? Was that? Oh, sorry, Livinia, I didn't realise you were there.
I'd like to be in the room to be able to defend myself. I think you've caught me on camera going, shut up, Tony, and then looked up and thought, oh my goodness, I'm actually on air. You do have to be careful in that last couple of seconds because there are lip readers out there paying attention.
They all know. That's what I always think. I'm always very mindful of the lip readers at home. You've got to be careful.
Well, what?
Just saying.
Tony's now thinking. You can see it on his face. He's thinking,
said.
what have I said? What have I said?
No, I don't say anything that would be misconstrued. I'm normally pretty good in that regard because I was taught when I went to radio school years and years ago, every microphone is open. Every microphone is open. And even as I said before, I do radio in the mornings. Honestly, when we're in news or we're in the ads or whatever, I just never, ever say anything around a microphone.
Be careful.
Actually, we had a question that I'm not sure where it is at the moment, but someone did ask, when you're not on camera, when you're sitting in front of the camera but you're not on air, do you have a protocol that you stand by to, just in case it does switch to you? Are you always prepared just in case the camera comes to you?
It can happen. Yes, you do see occasional flashes, little technical glitches, especially in our early days when we moved in here. There were all sorts of little things didn't quite go
I had one
according to
tonight.
plan. I wasn't going to allude to that, but the thing is,
Everybody saw it.
things can go wrong, so you have to be prepared for that.
Indeed.
I don't put it this way. I don't think anyone should ever be sitting there picking their nose, thinking that they're safely off camera. Not that I've ever seen anyone picking their nose safely off camera. By the way, it doesn't happen around here. It might happen at the other channels, but never happens at Channel 9.
You want to get out of this one, Tracy?
I said exactly what I intended to say.
You have the floor, Tracy. Okay, this is your last chance to pose a question to the team. We are monitoring facebook.com/9news for questions. And of course, if you're on Twitter, just make sure you use the hashtag 9stream so we can find your questions. Now, Christian Clancy asks, apart from the new shows at Dockland Studio, what capacity is there for live shows to be filmed on the site rather than the off-site studios? It's a good question, Christian. In fact, Livinia Nixon has made her way to the multi-purpose room, which holds the answer to your question. And Livinia, it's a small but very effective space.
It is, because news and a current affair, the sets are left there permanently because we need those sets Monday to Friday for 9 News and also on weekends for the news as well. So we leave those untouched. But here in the multi-purpose room, we have shows like Kids WB, they were in here filming today. We also have the Sunday AFL footy show and Footy Classifieds, which goes to air on a Monday night. But for all the other big shows where we have a live audience, such as Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, we shoot those actually down the road at another part of the Docklands, which is in the Docklands Studio City, and we rented those studio spaces from the Victorian government for 5 years. So that's where we do all the huge, large shows, like the footy show that goes to air on a Thursday night, Rob.
Oh, terrific. Thank you for that. Okay, guys. Buggerlux asks, here's ones for TJ and Pete. When the gremlins hit, auto cue or video plays up, do you panic inside or stay cool, calm and collected?
Well, I don't think you can panic. There's no point in panicking. I think you just have to just talk your way through it.
But that comes with experience, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but I don't know. Is it being too twee to say there's a built-in mechanism?
There is a built-in mechanism, I think.
I think you learn your built-in mechanism, though. I mean, if the first time you had ever, read the Sport, for example, if you'd had an auto cue failure, you might have been slightly more thrown by it than you would be now.
No, I would have cried.
Well, an auto cue failure did happen to me just in the last couple of weeks, and I didn't have my glasses
We were all
here.
watching. I was sitting there thinking,
I sometimes use a contact lens or the glasses, neither of which was close handy. So I had to read the news sort of with my arms sort of not quite long enough, and it was a real mess, but we got through, and people didn't mind, and got quite a good response.
Talk about Murphy's Law. When that happened and Hitch had no auto cue for the whole bulletin, as soon as you said...
Now here's Tony Jones with the Sport.
Thanks, Pete. The auto cue was working. And
Perfectly.
I thought, this is sensational. And I thought, now what do we do here? Because we didn't want people to think that, oh, look at Tony, isn't he wonderful? Just like, not a problem, just reading away off the top of the head. So we did actually say at the end, didn't we?
And I was most grateful to you for doing that. Thank you, Tony.
No worries.
Very good of
Look
you.
after you, mate.
Well, while we answer these last lot of questions, the lovely Lavinia Nixon is back in the studio. Come on in,
on the
Lavinia.
stage.
You can follow me on Twitter.
What a fabulous job you've been doing
Thank
tonight.
you. Anyway, carry on. I don't like being the centre of attention, which is weird on TV.
Sorry, Rob, just on the Twitter, while we've been doing this, I must admit I have been checking Twitter. It is staggering the amount of messages has come through on Twitter from the amount of people actually watching this tonight.
Fantastic.
So I take back everything I said to you before we did this.
Yes, thank you, Tony. Twice in 2 weeks. I'm like on some kind of good run with you. We've had a few questions. A lot of people asking, do you know anything about Hey Hey and its return?
I do know that Daryl was sighted in the building during the month, so that's interesting.
Oh, that's a bit of hot
Might have
gossip.
been at the Telstra call centre, was it? Or-
Well, we haven't heard anything yet, but we'll wait and see if there's anything happening towards the end of the year.
Okay, there's another question here from Matt Wong. Is it a real screen Livo stands in front of when she does the weather?
It is. It's a real plasma TV, and it costs $77,000 because it is so large. So we have to be very careful with that.
And we have several of them in the studio, because there's one behind me and there's one over there behind Tracy, or several. So.
He brings
another
them in
in-
from home every
Yeah.
day.
I was about to say, have you been told the price because you stand so close to it that be
No,
careful?
we hear these things.
But Pete, you would remember the days of Rosemary Margan. I mean,
Yes.
we
Drawing
weren't
on the
working. Were you here,
glass.
Trace, when she did that?
No,
No.
I was not.
Yes, well, she was stood behind the glass and wrote the letters, the numbers for the temperature tomorrow. It's going to be, in those days, Fahrenheit, I suppose,
Yeah.
100 degrees. She'd sort of write it backwards so that it looked correct from front.
So she'd have a
It was
big texter.
Yes, it was hilarious.
And she used to have to draw the highs and the lows on as
Yes.
well.
And then we had little back projection shots. We had a small monitor over our shoulder with a projector behind it, and every now and again you'd be reading and the lamp in the projector would explode. And you'd think, oh my Lord, I've just been shot. So it was all good
So
fun.
you check yourself. Oh no, it's okay. I'm intact.
It was good fun.
Well, actually, on that, James asks, as news hosts, you have to maintain a level of seriousness. However, sometimes when a story in the news is hilarious, how hard is it not to burst out laughing?
Oh, with your
Very.
animal stories, you love them.
Yes, we have some very
Well, you
funny
had an
stories.
animal story. A bit of a seagull came
Oh
into...
yes, I did, didn't I? Oh, fool of a thing. And I just...
Oh, I think we've got some vision.
Oh, don't. I couldn't stand it.
Love this.
I don't know how many hits it's had on YouTube, like something like 2.5 million hits last time we counted.
Really?
Somebody rang me from Afghanistan. They were in Kabul and they said, I couldn't believe it. They said, I was in my hotel room. There was gunfire or mortar or something in the distance. And he said, I turned on BBC World just to get away from it all. And there you are on the half hour with that damn seagull behind you.
The BBC World.
On BBC World, I've really made it.
I
love
remember
it.
I was sitting in my office because I don't normally come onto the set till maybe about 15:15 or something each night. And I watched it and I shrieked. And then I sent this email to Tom Malone, who's the executive producer of the Today Show, and said, you should see what happened just out here. You should get it. You should get him on the show tomorrow morning. And they did.
Well, yeah, they did. And I did interviews all day, right around Australia. But the thing was, I couldn't make a joke of it because I was doing a cold case murder story. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just keep reading and maybe nobody will notice. It was a perfect thing for a panto.
It was fairly unobtrusive,
It was
wasn't it,
like
really?
pantomime. It's behind you. We're boys and girls. But I couldn't do any jokes.
Wasn't there a line that sort of sounded like it could be part of the...
Yes, I can't quite
Yeah, I
remember what
can't.
the script was.
I'm glad I brought it up then. Hey guys, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of tonight's live stream event. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted a question, and our thanks to Peter Hitchener, Tracy Grimashaw, Tony Jones and Livinia Nixon for taking part, and thanks for letting me borrow your chair for the night.
Pleasure.
For news updates and behind-the-scenes videos, go to facebook.com/9news, and you can find an archive of all of our live streams and videos at youtube.com/9newsaustralia. We'll see you again very soon. Good night.
This has been a 9 News live stream event.